Welcome to the carousel. I am John. With me, I have Jake.
I gotta think of something funny to say. Shit.
Oh, well, I have Randy.
Hello.
And we are the
carousel.
It's E4.
This is your first time listening. We talk about video games and movies and TV and occasionally comics and books, and do a podcast every other week and have a live stream on Thursday at 8 every other week. So
Not that kind of stream.
And we do stream. It's just sometimes, it's not always.
I'm not going to judge different lifestyles.
You have to go to a different website to find the one where I'm streaming. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch kicked me off.
Just...
And then there's another video about me being kicked off, but that's gets real esoteric and real niche. It's a real niche type of video. So.
I'm bored already.
So, real quick, we had a donation this week. Want to send a quick shout out to Anthony. Thank you very much for your generous donation.
It was very generous.
Generous.
It was generous-ish. I mean, it wasn't. We can't retire, but it was very generous. Thank you, Anthony.
So, continuing on, we got releases. Jake, do you want to take this one away?
Yeah. We have on June 24th. We have Mario and Sonic get all kinds of awful diseases and then have babies with tiny heads. It is Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympic Games. So, that's...
Like a Nintendo Olympics?
Do you remember Mario and Sonic in the Olympics in 2012 or whatever?
No.
Oh, it's track and field with Mario and Sonic.
Oh.
Except here, you can just see the crushing poverty and, collapsing bridges and all that stuff.
So, something else that I realized that wasn't on this list, because Nintendo always releases shit on Fridays, is the Tokyo Mirage Sessions comes out for Wii U tomorrow, too.
Oh, I didn't put that on the list because I had no idea what it was.
Yeah, I got it pre-ordered, so...
Tokyo Mirage.
Would you care to explain it?
It is a Well, okay, so a long time ago they announced Shimigami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, right? This is the result of that. So this is a lot of Shimigami Tensei kind of Persona-esque like combat systems with a lot of lore from Shimigami Tensei, but also a lot of lore from Fire Emblem.
Is it like tactics stuff?
It's honestly, I barely know what it is. It's supposed to be some weird sort of idol game where some of the combat stuff is like you performing as an idol, and I'm not...
Oh, an idol game. I was thinking like it was a cookie clicker.
Oh, no.
I'm like, you pre-ordered something that A, you don't know what it is, and B, you think it's an idol game?
Like Japanese teenage idols. Like,
right.
It sounds weird as fuck. It's gotten really good reviews so far. I have no idea. By default, I buy anything Shimigami Tensei video game related. So I was in from the get-go. So if you wanted to buy something that's probably going to wind up being a collector's item, I imagine this would be on that list.
And then 22 years from now, you can make a couple of bucks. Yeah. Don't take it out of the box. We also have The Division. Their Underground DLC is coming out on the 28th. Randy, do you know anything about this?
No. I'll probably pick it up, though. I really liked The Division.
Probably more Dark Zone stuff, I would guess. I don't know. I'm not into it.
I would think so. Probably raising the level cap some, if that's even necessary. I don't know.
Would you guys say that you feel divided about it?
I used to be able to do a real good cricket noise. Can't do that no more.
All right, well, I mean, you guys were playing the
I looked at it
game.
briefly. I don't know. I'll probably get it, even if I have to play it by myself. I liked The Division. I liked the cover system and all that.
Okay.
So
Hey,
more the same for me. I like it.
If people are still playing it and they get more stuff to play, good for them. Good on them.
I'll probably be the only one of my buddies that gets it, so I'll be all alone. I'll have to pug it.
Bug it up.
Mm-hmm.
We got Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens on the 28th. That is out for everything. I'm sure you can play it on a Nokia flip phone.
Am I the only one who does not like or does not give a shit about the Lego Blank games?
I tried to care about them, and I don't really either.
I keep, the Batman ones are really the only ones I give a shit about for obvious reasons. And I liked them before they started talking because they had to do like a vaudeville gag joke, and now they seem like they're really following the plots a lot more, and it's like,
Becoming too serious.
The only thing I really like about Lego games is other people telling me the jokes that are in them. Like, because they got that Marvel Heroes Lego game or whatever it was that had, 50 or 100 Marvel characters in it. And I really dislike the gameplay in it. Like, really a lot. So...
well, there was that one where it was... if you ran into Captain America with Human Torch, there was some sort of interaction because they're both Chris Evans.
Oh, wow. I mean, like, they always have good jokes and good writing in them, I feel like. But, like, the control on Iron Man flying around is balls.
Has anybody ever gotten that right?
On Iron Man specifically, or just flying in general?
Iron Man.
No, I don't think. Like that, I think they had a well, no. I was probably a little bit too generous in the days that I played that Sega demo for the Iron Man movie tie-in.
Okay, because that's what I went. That's where I went with that. And he looked really cool when he was turning, but he controlled like ass, just fried over, just ass.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, speaking of ass, we got Prison Architect is out on the 28th for PC. This thing's been, I think it's a Kickstarter or Greenlight that finally went gold, so to speak.
A lot of people like that game.
Prison Architect. So it's like a sim, I guess.
Yeah, except you have to, stop people from rioting and still feed them, and I don't know. It's I think it's on sale on the Steam sale, which we're going to get into later. I forget if I put it in the list. It's on sale, but it's nothing crazy. I might bite. I don't know. I've got so much else keeping me busy lately.
I know, man. There's a lot.
We got 2 movies coming out. We have, I'm going to do the bad one first. Legend of Tarzan is out 7/1, July 1st.
You see, I'm actually more interested in this one than the other one.
Then the other... What other
They're
one?
different. They're different kinds of bad. Because the other one is Independence Day Resurgence. That is out 24th.
Yeah.
Which is, what, tomorrow? Tomorrow. So if you've heard this, you're probably able to see it right now.
The thing is, I don't know. I'd be more into Independence Day because I think, at the very least, it knows what it is.
Does it?
Does it?
So.
Yeah, I took your line, Jake. Sorry.
I
think so. Much more than that. Tarzan looks so self-serious.
The Tarzan looks cool because they're going to do some real cool CGI shit. Independence Day looks cool, and let's be honest, I'm not going to watch probably either of these until they hit Netflix. But Independence Day is not, it's going to have a lot of CG, but that's not going to be the technical marvels. You're going to, dig the story and laugh at the sort of deprecating humor, I hope, and Jeff Goldblum is going to be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a Netflix movie. Like, if Tarzan gets good reviews, I will probably go see it in the theater. It has a lot of actors that entertain me. There's another movie come out that I'm even more interested in that I haven't even watched the trailer for, so I don't actually know if it's going to be any good. But it's by the director who did What We Do in the Shadows and is doing the new Thor movie, and it's called Hunt for the Wilder People. And I don't.
Is that hyphenated?
No, it has like Sam Neill and some fat kid in it. Like, I guess that's.
Oh, it's Jurassic Park 4. I think it's Jurassic Park. Oh no, 5. We're up to 5 now.
Like, I haven't seen the trailer, but I'm curious. And this guy is crazy to me because all he does on his Twitter is troll Marvel fans by like one of his tweets, for instance, was he tweeted at James Gunn and the guy who directed Ant-Man, and he's like, he asked him a series of questions. Like, one of them was like, how many explosions did Marvel require you guys to have in the movie? And then his next tweet was like, do I have to use the purple guy with the glove? Like, is that a requirement? Like, just...
I think his name's Amos. It's Amos, right? Do I need to use Amos?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
He did some really good trolls. Like, I have enjoyed. It may not be a good sign for his Marvel movie, but it's at least entertaining on Twitter. But I mean, obviously he knows what those things are, but it does make you wonder how serious he's taking it. But either way, I'm curious. Sorry, where are we at?
Well, we'll send you in. You'll let us know how it is. You have a story coming out in December that you're excited about.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about this. Our piece of news that I need to go look at this. Lock and Key, the comic book, written by Joe Hill,
Yes.
Stephen King's son.
Mm-hmm.
Illustrated by Gabriel Rodriguez, I think. Yes, Gabriel Rodriguez. Like, super, super, super awesome comic book series. Like, I would recommend this to non-comic fans. They are coming out with a new story in December.
No kidding.
It is called Small World, and I know next to nothing else about it. But it's
So how do these work? I mean, I assume on a year-round weekly comic that you just kind of get 2-3 issues out ahead of yourself, and then you just have a rolling schedule where you're doing one every week. For something like this, did they probably have all the books done already, and they're just going to release them periodically? How does that work?
Lock and Key is a finished series. Like, it is.
Yeah, it's not serialized or anything.
Yeah, like it's.
Well, right. But what I'm saying is, like, for these discrete runs, which, boy, this morning, man, 2 cups of coffee. Oof. No, when there's a discrete run, when it's 24 episodes, something like that, they get them all done ahead of time and then just release them as they want to. Yeah.
I don't know. I would think so.
They aren't even required to do. I mean, I know you're talking shit a minute ago. Yeah. But these are just something they decided to do. Like, there's no requirement for them to ever write in this universe again.
It's just a one-off book.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This will just be like, yeah. This isn't good.
You said story. I thought story arc. My bad.
Oh yeah, no. Like the original Lock and Key comic, like it was started with the premise that was going to end, but it was a monthly series, and they did it in I think 3-4 parts, something like that. I don't remember. I'm probably wrong. It's been a little while since I've read it, but it's one of those things that I always intend to reread. And like they're developing a TV show again about it, and like there's an audiobook that is more like a radio play of it.
I was just thinking the other day, I am so glad that podcasting became a thing, because it allowed people to do radio play stuff, and like allowed people, the iPod probably helped a little more with people carrying music around in their pockets. But really, I mean, you don't have all that stuff, and then all this spoken word stuff. I don't know if you get to all this radio play stuff and Audible and all that. Like, I am so glad that's a thing again, because it's a really cool medium.
Yeah. I don't listen to a lot of the podcast radio play stuff, but the few I have were pretty good. But anywho, that's all I got on that one. So let's get Steamy in here and talk money.
Hey,
hide your wallets, everyone. We gotta. Well, the Steam sale has begun today. It is Thursday the 23rd. It is going through July the 4th. And the way it works is it's not one of these things this year where you got to check Steam every 3 hours and vote on which of these 3 games you want the biggest sale for, and these sales are only good for 6 hours. Like, it is whatever the games are now, you can get them all the way through 4th of July for that same price.
Okay, cool.
So, like, I don't know. I haven't been pleased with Steam sales for a while. I didn't like the Christmas one. I don't think I'm going to like this one.
Well, I think the reason that people got so excited for Steam sales is because it had that temporary thing where it's, okay, this is 85% off, but only for the next 22 minutes.
Yeah.
You got to pull the trigger now, or it might be 55 and then go to 85 2 days from now. And it's just like,
Well, that's how you're going to get me to buy a game now that I'm going to play later. Like, right now, my gaming schedule is booked up through July, Like, anything I buy now, I'm not going to play till probably August. And August, towards the end of that month, like, with the new releases that come out, I'm only going to have a couple weeks to play whatever I buy from the Steam sale. So, they have to hit like a $5 price point for the most part. Like,
Well, see, and I like it the other way around because some of these, I got a list here of stuff that I think is notable. And some of these, like, I probably, like, if I had to make the decision right now, like, I'm probably not dropping $39 on Rise of the Tomb Raider. But I'm gonna think about it for a couple days, and I'll probably end up picking it up. Like, it's something I want to play. It's something I wanted to play on PC. I mean, yeah, it's not really probably going to go down too much farther than that, for at least for the next couple months. So yeah, I'll probably end up coming around on that.
I will say the one thing that this does give me hope for is that Valve decided to start developing games again.
What makes you say that?
They are putting less effort into the Steam sales. Like, maybe they're actually using their manpower to do something. I mean, granted, sure, Team Fortress 2 still exists. That's still receiving updating and maintenance. Dota 2 exists.
I was going to say, he's not going to leave off Dota.
But maybe I should say, this makes me hope that maybe they'll think about doing another single-player game again someday.
They don't need to. They're pulling in. They get, 10% off the top, I think.
It's not about what they need to. It's about them not being soulless monsters.
Well, and they aren't, and that's exactly, I think, why you haven't seen a game from them in so long, is they can afford to wait until they figure out something that they want to do.
Well, look, the head writer for Saints Row series now works there. Like, he's worked there over a year now. I know that's not creepy that I paid attention to that guy.
It also means nothing at Valve because they have an 8-year development cycle.
Brad Baird, is that his name? The guy from Double Fine that made the fucking Massive Chalice game. I always want to say Brad Bird, but that's the fucking picture guy.
Muir sounds like they're right.
Brad Muir, yeah. He works at Valve now. Like they got these people who I feel like define themselves on single player experiences. So I feel like they should be gearing up for something. Like, obviously I'm not on the Half-Life 3 bandwagon. I don't think
they're gearing up for you to buy more gear in the next game they release.
My hope is that they release a single player experience. I know years ago, like the road has been paved. Like, Gabe went out like years ago and was talking about how single player games were going to stop being a thing. So in a way, it's not surprising that Valve stopped doing single player games because they just made that business oriented decision.
Well, Dota, they don't even need to sell. I mean, they don't sell the game, but they don't even need to sell characters and stuff. They made, and granted, I think most of this just goes into the prize pool. But how many millions of dollars did they make just off the compendium last year? Like 6, 8, 12, something crazy.
I don't know. To me, they are catering to, everything's a niche audience now. Like, let's be real about this. There are 8 billion people in the world, and there are 10 million people playing this type of game and this type of game and that type of game. And to that extent, I would actually say, as large as the audience is for these MOBAs, it is a niche audience. That audience isn't necessarily going to get larger except with new human beings who only like to play MOBAs.
It's like the Fallout shelter of MOBAs. Okay. Gotcha. So we have I have some recommendations here. The first one is not a glowing recommendation. It's Stellaris. I've been playing a lot more Stellaris. I'm still not good at it. It's 10% off, which is not very much, but $36 is better than 40. And if you're liking 4X games, this one's real strong. It's very complicated, and I'm finally 15, 20 hours in starting to get a handle on some of the mechanics. And I get my ass beat every single time, but that's because I refuse to turn it down to easy. So if that's your thing, and you were going to buy it, you were thinking about it, you were on the fence, knocking 10% off, fine, okay, joke. But that's the weakest of the deals. The strongest of the deals is that Doom is 40% off at $36.
Totally worth it if you don't already have it. Absolutely. Stop listening to this and go buy it.
I mean, look, Mass Effect 3 doesn't come out till next year. Persona 5 doesn't come out for next year.
Mass Effect 3, it's
Or
been
Mass,
out.
Yeah.
Whatever. The new Mass Effect.
Come on,
they're dropping
John.
it. Point being is all the good games come out next fucking February and March. So Doom, being an amazing game, has no competition this year. Like, I think that's probably going to be the game of the year.
It's pretty great. I would be fine with that.
I don't know anyone who's played it that it's not going to be in there. At least their top 3. I mean, yeah, we're only halfway through the year, but oof.
Part of me thinks too that Doom is not a game that videos well necessarily, like
For like Let's Plays.
Yeah, because I tried to talk some friends into into getting in. I'm like, look, no guys, I'm not really a Doom fan. Like I played a little bit back in the day, but like this game is awesome because it's fast and it's brutal and it's the kind of hard you want out of a first person shooter. And one of them went and watched videos and was like, it didn't look like it was for me. And I'm like,
You're right. It doesn't... That's what everyone said. It doesn't look like it's for anyone. You have to play it, and you will know 5 minutes in.
That is great. See, I bought it sight unseen just because I'm a fanboy. I Doom 3, I bought all of those. Just sight unseen.
I mean, it would have been worth $75. I was lucky to get it for 60, and at 36, it's no question. If you have any interest, even if you think you're not going to like it, but you like other first-person shooters, and you have $36 of disposable income, that's what it should go towards in this Steam sale.
Well, and you're listening to podcasts for a reason, right? You're listening, or at least the reason I listen to people talk about games is to try and figure out if I'm going to like a game or not. Like, that's part of the reason, right? So you should just, like, pay attention to, I usually agree with this particular person about games, and they really like Doom a lot. So,
I heard an interesting comparison from Doom. Let's just, again, I think I said this the last 3 podcasts. Can we just talk about Doom? I heard a good comparison to the Tony Hawk games. Because those fights are almost like stringing combos together because you survive via those glory kills a lot of the time. I don't know. Enemy to enemy to enemy, you can't really take much time off from not killing enemies because they're killing you. I thought that was a pretty interesting comparison. I mean, you don't get like combo scores, but that's kind of what you're aiming for, is a non-stop chain of kills.
Well, the combo score is you get to keep your 4x limbs because unlike Nightmare, you have to do that or you will die. Like, you need to always be collecting health. A, B, C, H.
And you need to, like, you're always going to run out of ammo and weapons, and it forces you to change and use the other weapons, and when you kind of learn which weapons kill which enemies faster, then suddenly you got a weapon juggling that's going, and 75% of the weapons in that game are fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, what is there a bad one? Which one don't you like?
I don't think there's a bad one. There's just
chain gun.
Think they're all fucking awesome.
I love the chain gun, man.
I'm mixed use on the chain gun. I got the ability that lets me ramp it up without actually firing, and that kind of upped the appeal for me.
Yeah.
But I really like that Gauss gun, but that thing uses
that's
a
my
huge
favorite
amount of
one.
ammo. Well, it's hard to use. It's really, like, it shoots slow, and then if you do siege mode, it shoots even slower.
It's really
I'm sorry, I think that's the one I was thinking of. Which is the one you can deploy as a turret? That's not the chain gun?
I think you can deploy the chain gun as a turret.
Can you?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Because
that.
you're either super fucking slow when you're ramping it up, or your option is to just be immobile completely.
Well, no, that's the Gauss gun. Because the Gauss gun has the siege mode where you hold a button and it does more damage, but you can't move when it does that.
Yeah.
I think it's both. I will be willing to do a Jake is full of shit on this next episode if I'm wrong, but I think it might be both.
Chain gun makes more sense as a turret.
Okay. I haven't unlocked everything. I need to get back to it. I've just been worried about my computer, so I've been using it sparingly.
Yeah, it's even fun to go back through those. I've been going back through those levels and trying to find all the secrets.
Hell yeah!
I don't know. There's a lot of playability in this game because you're not going to find them all on your first run.
No,
and can, but boy, howdy, you're going to spend a lot of time.
You're not done yet.
I've had to cheat on a few of them and just look up a YouTube video because there are some of those I just fucking.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
oh, that lever's not an inanimate object, you know. Like, the levers are really like phenomena. But the levers are like you really got to find a few before you start looking for them and identifying them as an object to hit. But anyway.
So we got
Totally
on.
worth
We
the money.
got
Get it if you don't have it.
Fallout 4 is 50% off for $30. That does not have any of the DLC, including the what appears to be, although I haven't actually fired it up myself yet. The new Contraptions DLC looks like it's just all mostly useless building stuff that they kind of just. Well, it's they put it out for people to make, I think, to make goofy YouTube videos and get lots of views and advertise their game.
That's not a bad idea.
I've seen a couple of videos of people doing funny stuff with it. Like there was a guy who made this entire contraption with 17 or 18 steps just to shoot Preston Garvey in the ass with like a 5 or 6 rack of paintball guns. Like he went through like 10 or 12 steps just for these guns to just go by and just pop, pop, shoot him in the ass. I'm sure people are going to do some funny stuff with it. I don't think I'm ever going to mess with it. So, the base game is $30. The DLC season pass is not on sale.
Disappointment.
I don't know. At what they're priced them individually.
It was the one thing I really wanted to go on sale, but I guess I get to wait for Christmas.
It might. Quit clicking that pen, buddy.
It's not a pen, it's a clip.
Oh. Darkest Dungeon, 40% off, so it's $15. I don't know that this one's for me, but the people who like it really, really like it. Did you ever go back to that one, John?
I've been meaning to. I really like it. It's just very time-consuming. Like you can spend 4 hours in that game and not get anywhere. Like, it is,
It's the Dark Souls of...
It's, ish, maybe, kind of. I mean, I guess all your guys die. Like, you really, stop valuing your characters' lives in that game. Like, because you're just like, well, who can I recruit and then get rid of because I don't feel like curing all their fucking...
Oh, so they get the clap, and you just kick them to the curb.
Yeah, pretty much. You're like, hey, listen, I need you to go to this dungeon and give me everything you find from it. Oh, what's that? You got a horrible phobia from this and a disease and look, you gotta go.
You got troll herpes? Get out of here.
Get off this. I know this is a demon-infested piece of land. You're not welcome.
You better learn to speak demon, buddy.
Yeah. So, and you do that with all your guys all the time. Like, it is, like, when you level a guy up, like, that's the only time when you actually think about keeping characters is when you level a guy up too much and you're like... He has all these things, even though he has even though he steals things for himself and doesn't give them to me, or maybe he freaks out and runs to the back of the line and causes everyone else to get hit, or, but
until he gets demon syphilis, he's sticking around.
Well, and until you get another one of his class that doesn't have as many negatives.
That the rogue that won't stab you in the eyes.
Pretty much. But.
Speaking of getting stabbed, I guess I'm not going to sell you on this, John, but anyone else, I think Shovel Knight, if you haven't picked it up, 33% off. It's $10. If you have any interest in the genre, it is an awesome, awesome game made in the style of Mega Man and sort of those old side-scrollers. It's not pixel art per se, or sprites. It's actual. Well, maybe it is sprites. I don't actually know the terms on those. It's not voxels or. I'm just spitting out terms at this point. It's a real fucking good game. It controls awesome. The soundtrack is the best soundtrack, probably tied with Bastion. Best soundtrack I've ever heard in a game. They used the same tools that they used to make the soundtracks back then. But, with today's computing power and extra channels and stuff like that, and it's great. They keep releasing free DLC for it. There's extra characters you can play the whole game with that all have different mechanics. They've had 2 out so far, Shovel Knight, and then I think it's Plague Master, Plague Doctor, something like that. They got a 3rd one coming out for free. It's, to me, if you have any interest in side-scrollers, no-brainer. Way better than Mighty Number 9, which I saw glimpses of and am running away from as fast as I can. We got Rise of the Tomb Raider, like I mentioned earlier, 35% off, $39.
Yeah.
I'll probably bite. This War of Mine, 75% off for $5. It is cripplingly depressing, and you will probably be crippled in the game, but it's very poignant, and while there is a lot of exploring and picking stuff up and inventory management, I wouldn't call it fun. It's more of an experience.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't dump a ton of time into it when it came out. I did probably 4 or 5 hours. But I'm very glad I did those 4 or 5 hours because it really puts you in a headspace where you're like, you're in this Eastern European country that, is just generic Eastern Europe, and there's this civil war that's been going on, and you're in this sort of not bombed out but kind of bombed out house, and you have to manage your supplies and stay alive by going out to different sections of the city to try and get supplies. Well, one of the first ones you run across is you find this house that is totally stocked with everything you need: food, stuff to keep you happy, materials to make stuff, beds and crap like that you get to make, and you get to outfit your sort of home base. It looks like Fallout Shelter because it's kind of from the side, so it's real Fallout Shelter, XCOM sort of thing.
Okay.
And all this shit you can just totally take, except it's an elderly couple who just happen to have all this stuff, and you're basically going to kill them if you take all their shit. And you get to make that decision now. It's just, it's good. And they come at it from a very, like, an honest way. It's not Mass Effect, right trigger, red, get punchy, left trigger, blue, give them money kind of thing. Like, it's good. It's good. Dark Souls 3, 25% off at $45. You already know if you're going to get that. Witcher 3 expansion pass comes with it for $50, or it's $25 by itself.
I just saw one that I was interested in and I never wound up getting it. I don't know if you guys ever played it. Maybe you could talk me into or out of it. The Civ Beyond Earth. Was that any good? Or was it garbage?
Ooh.
Was it hot trash?
I read some stuff on that. I've never played it. Jake, you're the other Civ expert on
it's
here.
2/3 off, man. It's $13.19.
Ooh.
Is that cheap enough to make it worth it?
Well,
because I love
yes.
MusiM 5.
I was playing it. I got a Steam controller, and that's the game I used to test it out. And actually got pretty good with the Steam controller. It was a good game to learn that with.
Doesn't seem like Civ would be the best platform to try that out on.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
I think that, the gameplay is still pretty solid. It's all your hex-based stuff. Excuse me, that you're used to from Civ 5.
Yeah.
It's the color palette is very kind of gross. There's nothing really pretty about the game. It feels dark and bleak because everything is sort of green and purple, and the sea is like this real navy blue.
Yeah.
It's interesting because what you would expect to be barbarians are actually aliens.
Yeah.
And they do not fuck around. Like, there's Dune-style sandworms or Beetlejuice that will just fuck up your town. But it doesn't... It feels like it's missing all the stuff that makes a Civ game good. It's understanding inherently what a water mill would do. Like, it's going to mill the flour. It's going to mill flour, and you don't have to do it. Well, of course, that would be more production. What is a merchant going to do? They're going to get you more gold. So they had to come up with all these futuristic names for shit.
Right.
And
Space
the technology...
versions.
Yeah. And the technology is a web instead of like a linear kind of thing. And I don't love it. For $13...
Do you think maybe you were just too used to the way 5 was doing it?
Well, that's the thing. I played through 2 full games before I set it down, and then I came back to it when I got my Steam controller a couple of weeks ago. It's also missing your leaders, that you know who they are. Like Gandhi will nuke you because he's from India. I'm not saying that Indian people will nuke people. I'm saying that Gandhi is an
Walk it back.
asshole.
Own it.
There's the old 255 value thing where if you... He's so peaceful, he's at level 1, but if you became friends with him, he'd go down to 0, and then if you did one more thing, he'd wrap around, so now his anger level, his hostility level is 255, and that's why he went into crazy mode and always started nuking everybody back in the day. So anyway, so it's missing a lot of those hooks, but for $13, if you really like the way Civ plays and you like 4X games and you're willing to give it a try, it's got some cool features to it and it's worth checking out.
I might do that.
I don't know that I'd go over 20. I think 20 would be my ceiling, but 13, yeah, I could probably get on board with that.
It's still selling for 40 at full price. I don't know. That's tempting. I'll have to think about that one.
40 is a big fat neon sign saying nope.
Okay.
13, yeah. I'd probably pull the trigger on that.
All right, I might do that later.
Witcher's 20. Go ahead.
That's probably the best thing about the Steam sale is it gives me a chance to play games that I might have missed, for cheap.
Yeah, it brings them back into your purview, sort of into your line of sight, and I think it's very valuable in that, and that's why I have a wish list. So I get emails about this stuff when it goes on sale because I don't want to forget about it.
Yeah.
Witcher's $25 by itself. That's Witcher's 3. I think if you're into The Witcher, that's probably a real good deal. The people who have been playing that have been putting 140 hours into it. I've never liked the series, but that seems like a real good deal. And then Wolfenstein New Order, that's the full game, not the standalone DLC. It's 50% off. It's $10. If you haven't played it, I think you should pick up Doom and then grab that and play that right afterwards.
Actually, I probably will get that one. But
that's when I saw it. You're who I thought of, and I went, oh, I got to convince John on this one because $10. Yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah.
So let's actually.
Jake, you play the NBA games, right?
If you're asking about 2K16, it's down to like $7, but
it's
I think
80% off at $12.
I think it's the free game on PS Plus this month.
Ah,
so go get it.
Is that the Spike Lee one?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Spike Lee joint.
Okay, and then if it's on, man, I'm gonna play that because all I want to see is that stupid Spike Lee story.
Okay, I cannot wait for 2 weeks from now when you come back to us and don't understand basketball, and when we do the Q&A. That's gonna be fun.
I think I understand
So some shots are
basketball.
3 points, and other shots are 2 points.
Oh come on, basketball is not complicated.
If I shoot from my free throw line, is it still 1 point?
Right. Is there a goalie?
You're gonna get so many 3-second violations, and it's gonna be so fun while you try and figure out what that actually is, because they never tell you. They never tell you.
Okay.
It's
barely understood by the players, I think.
I don't know what that is, so...
Yeah, wait till they start calling it on you and you just lose the ball for no reason. It's fucking awesome.
We could explain it to you. That's not within the realm of this podcast.
I refuse to explain it to you because that is part of the joy of those games, is getting super pissed at the refs for them
learning the rules
actual penalties on you that you don't think are penalties, and just... It's like if you were actually put in the NBA, you would be doing all kinds of shit that was totally illegal, and you'd be like, what? No, there's no way I don't even know what you called me for. And they're like, all right, you just fouled out, so...
Me and the NBA would be hands on my knees, huffing it at half court, while everybody just ran past me. That would be me and the NBA.
I can't wait to hear you talk about that one, Jen.
Okay. Looking forward to it. So, let me just defend myself a bit.
Well, we're a bit fractured. I feel like we need to come back together. We need to reassemble.
Yeah, need to form Voltron Force.
And I'll be the head.
I'll form the head. God damn, you always do this thing. No, I'm sorry.
I need a few minutes. Talk about me while I'm gone.
I think that's what. I think it's like that meme where they take quotes and misapply them to characters. Like do or do not. There is no try.
Yeah.
E.T.
Yeah. So, Voltron Legendary Defender, if you didn't know, new series on Netflix. It's by the Legend of Korra and Avatar guys. I don't know who is involved and how many, but I think it's like the two main guys that did the Avatar and Legend of Korra series are heading up this one. It is 12 episodes.
12-hour-long episodes.
Only the first episode is that long.
Oh, are they? Okay.
I don't think any of the rest of them are an hour.
Okay.
I might have to double check, but I'm pretty sure most of them are 25 minutes or so.
That seems a lot more manageable.
Yeah. And it ends on the worst cliffhanger ever, so be prepared for that. You burned through this whole thing already? Oh, I guess if they're not all hour long. How long has this been out? Because I kind of just noticed it a couple days ago. Are we talking weeks, a month? It's been out like a week and a half.
Okay.
It came out during E3.
Oh, well, there's your answer.
Yeah. So, here's the other thing. Don't look up the IMDb cast because that will spoil a plot point for you.
Will it spoil a plot point if you don't remember anything but I'll be the head from the cartoon back in the day?
They changed a lot from the original cartoon in this. And I am very serious. If you look up the voice actors...
Is it one of those things where somebody plays two characters kind of thing, or you think they died?
You're just asking me to spoil it, like
okay.
That's what you're asking
no,
me
if you can't talk around it, don't worry about talking around.
No, there's no talking around it. Like maybe in a month or so, but like the original Voltron cartoon, if you aren't familiar with it, was done in the '80s when it was a habit of U.S. Like basically the U.S. networks would buy a couple Japanese cartoons and splice them together and make their own thing out of it, and that is what United States citizens know as Voltron, right? And that was what was produced. Like in the first episode of the original Voltron, one of the characters dies in the Japanese version, but in the U.S. they're like, oh no, he just went away, he couldn't stick around, and like you have all the characters standing in front of this very elaborate grave, like talking about the future and stuff, but
he had to return to his home planet.
I guess I don't know. He was human. But, like, here's the other thing, is the new series has a character that was not in the original, to my knowledge. He might be related to one of the Japanese runs, since those are completely different in nearly every aspect.
Yeah, they have a much different diet in Japan, so their runs are... I mean, it's totally different.
Oh, God, talking shit again.
I know, my jokes are very sake. Go on.
Yeah. God, I don't even know what I was talking about anymore. Oh, right. I'm back. Okay, so Shoji is not a character... Like, in the original Voltron, like, none of this is spoilers for the show. You might think it might be, but it's really not. Like, the show takes aspects of the original and reinvents them, and then gets rid of some of them. So, you don't have Aurora's dad in the show, voiced by Peter Cullen. That's maybe one of the parts I miss most of the original series. The theme music is vastly different, which was kind of disappointing, but the animation's real good. Shoji is an original character they made for the show.
The music is very... It evokes the 80s, and it evokes anime. Here's the thing. I've only watched the first episode. I finished it a little bit ago. And I like it a lot. I'm just going to have to deal with the goofy anime shit. The weird faces that people make, like, I made a joke. This is the face we make over here when we make jokes. Like, I have to learn to deal with all that. But, like, the music is great because it evokes the 80s without being hacky or tacky, I mean. And it's got all the anime sort of style without being over-the-top anime.
Yeah. Well, and it's definitely a kid's show in that aspect, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not as much of a kid's show as, say, like Ultimate Spider-Man, but it's definitely more of a kid's show. Actually, I'd put it about on the level of Dragon Ball Z in terms of kid's shows.
I don't know. I felt like, I mean, aside from them totally straight up murdering people in the first episode that they just hand wave away, I would say Ultimate Spider-Man's probably... I mean, it's explicitly for kids, but there's a lot more for adults to kind of latch onto in that. But this definitely has, like, it made me chuckle a couple of times. That, like, real good delivery on a couple of lines, and just well-written lines, and that's going to keep me going through the shit that I go, oh, God.
Yeah, like the It's definitely, like, it's a kid's show, but it has an evolving plot line. It doesn't do a monster of the week thing, so you're not going to get a row beast every episode. I don't even think you get one the first episode. But, man, the animation in this thing is fucking slick. Like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is, like, okay, so I watched Odd Gene, which was another animated Netflix show, and, you know, that show was good, but the animation really severely lacked in a lot of places. This is not the case. This is, like, really cool, like, computer rendering for Voltron himself. That's pretty seamlessly dipped into the whole anime, you know, 2D drawings.
And they still do the thing where when they're forming the arms and the legs, where the claw of the lion goes into like the slot, and it shoots it from inside, like sort of the receptacle, and the claw comes in and then locks down. Like, I forgot all those cool shots that they did an homage to, like, or I guess kind of just redid. But oh, those are cool.
I think it's actually way more detailed than the original in that aspect. Like, they go way more detailed in it. Like, and they do
as far as how they actually interact, you mean?
Yeah. In terms of the whole transformation process, I think they have a lot more. They put a lot more thought into what parts move and how to make these things look. I think the only part, like, as the original, like, you look at the lions and they're all blocky and chunky, and then when they form Voltron, they're very rounded. And in this one, except for kind of the torso region, I think most of it actually looks plausibly like the lion robots. But I don't know. I really like the show a lot. I hope they do a second season. I think everyone should go watch it to guarantee that they'll do a second season, because I want to punch someone in the dick over that cliffhanger they did. So,
it was cool. You put the hanger and cliffhanger there. I got it. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think I'm actually... It's not going to be I will sit down and watch 5 episodes of this thing, but I think I will probably make it through the series at some point. Like,
cool.
It's cool. It's cool. So speaking of goofy Japanese shit, I played the Final Fantasy 15 demo. Have any of you guys gotten to this?
Are you talking about the carbuncle thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it when they announced it.
It's kind of weird, right?
It's fucking terrible.
Well, I don't know that I'd say terrible, but it's it's got some hurdles to get over.
In all fairness, it's a tech demo. Like, it is straight up a tech demo. Like, they did that so you could see giant shit moving around and show you some of the physics and things like that. And, like, when you get to the battle at the end, like, that part's pretty good, except they don't really give you a tutorial for it.
Yeah, like, I had no idea you could... I mean, I saw it in that goofy VR shit they showed at E3. Yeah. I saw that you could kind of teleport around to certain places, but it didn't tell me, like, you have to have the sword out if you want to do that. Yeah, like, you... And by that, I mean not the light pole sword. I mean the... And I don't mean lightsaber. I mean it is a streetlight-sized thing. Like, the actual one-handed sword, you need to have that out to teleport around. And, like, you can't go from side to side. Like, I guess if you ever go to one of those things, you have to attack the boss from there? Is that how that works?
I don't know. Like, I've really soured more on this demo the more I've thought about it. Like, when I came out of it, I was like, oh yeah, that was okay. And that wasn't, you know, it's not really what I wanted in terms of a demo, but it was okay. And then, like, as time's gone by and after seeing that virtual reality demo and then, like, the demo at Microsoft, like, my pre-order is on the line right now.
Do you think any of those panels that were in the floor, like the ones that let you change the time of day, the ones that let you change the weather, clearly those are, look at this badass stuff we made. We want you to see this, but we're not going to be able to change those in the game. What do you think about, like, that one that, like, recharged the number of times you could use spells? And you think those would be in the actual game? Maybe you can't unlimited use them, but just a couple times?
I would be surprised if any of it was in the game. Like, I'm willing to bet the one thing that'll transfer over is whatever the hell you name Carbuncle.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. I forget what I named him. But it's going to be a real weird fucking reunion in a couple of months.
Get a call from the FBI?
Yeah.
I mean, it had something to do with either a dick, balls, or butts.
Yeah.
Maybe all three.
Yeah.
It could have been a Dickballbutt.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, no. Carbuncle. A carbuncle is an actual thing that happens to people. So I think I called him ass boil. I think that's what I called him, like a boil on your ass. So I can't wait to say hi to ass boils again.
Okay, Trevor McD in chat says the squeaky hammer was fun to use. I agree. That was actually fun.
And he says I was actually going to bring that up. There's the 4 sections you go through. There's a forest, which is your normal. Here's a forest. You follow the path. It's boring. It looks pretty. It's boring. Frame rate, a little rough. There's a section that looks like Paris from the BioShock Infinite DLC, which is kind of weird. And then there's the room he's talking about, which is it's this giant like library / playroom thing, and you're the size of a mouse, and everything is just like giant, and you're just sort of Micro Machine. You remember the old racing game Micro Machines? It's like that, where you're running around on playing cards and books and stuff, and they're just all huge.
So my experience in that area was I was like, okay, by then I realized this is just a tech demo. This is going to be real short. Oh, cool, I get a truck. Maybe I could just drive this truck in this thing and make physics go crazy. And I drove a truck into a thing, and it didn't move. And then, like, 10, 15 seconds later, then something up top moved and fell down, and I was like, I'm done with the truck. That was disappointing.
Well, the truck fucking sucks, because that and, like, you can turn into a mammoth at one point. Those both control, like, butts. Just straight butts. But it was, I don't know, I ran into some blocks and knocked a bunch of stuff over. It was cool.
I don't know. I might be overly negative. I haven't really been a Final Fantasy fan for years. Like, if they brought out another tactics game, I would be there day one. There would be little you could do to talk me out of it. But, like, the main Final Fantasy series, I really haven't enjoyed one since maybe 9. Like, I tried to play 10, and that was okay, but I didn't finish it.
I liked 10.
12, I liked the mechanics in the world of, obviously, since the world was from the tactics games. I hated the characters. Like, Ash was okay, but, you know, of course everyone hates Van, but I don't even like Balthier. Like, he was sarcastic quip guy. Like, that was the entirety of his personality. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm on too much of a negative rant on a very popular series. Like, let's...
Well, there's a couple of things and we can move on. The thing about Room is this. It just how cool this scale is, because that room feels fucking huge, and it's awesome. That, and then the Citadel at the end where you have to fight with the Iron Giant. The building behind you feels gigantic, and I really hope they're going to do some real cool stuff with that. And then the last thing, as far as the fight, you know, the controls they're a quarter second too slow. They feel unresponsive, and for the way they sort of want you to fight that fight, like it's kind of a Dark Souls fight, you need to have dead-on controls, and they don't. But I think the saving grace, and I'm going to hold out hope, that if you're in a party and you have 3-4 other people to distract, that maybe you're not going to have such split-second timing, and I'm hoping that saves it. So that's all I had on that.
Okay. So I beat Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Yes.
So my opinion on this game has evolved in a weird string of ways. Because this game is very compartmentalized in kind of everything it does. So you kind of wind up with a bunch of sections that don't fit together. It's a game I still like, but it has a lot of issues.
Would you recommend it?
Well, I can't give you a flat answer, honestly. It just depends on what type of games you like. But I'm going to kind of air my grievances and what I liked about it. Like the open world, I thought it was cool just having a place to run around and jump on shit and move around. What was not fun was they have a timed racing side quest. And I talked about that the last time I brought the game up on here.
Yeah.
But the racing side quests, like there's a big disparity between that and the story missions. Whereas the story missions, things highlight red in terms of the path that you need to go. For the racing mission, they give you the slowest path to get to your goal. You don't know where your goal is without looking on your map, though, during the race, which you can't do while you're really... I mean, you can open your map screen, I guess, and try and figure it out, but...
So it sounds like you never get to do one of these once and expect to do well. Like, you have to do a dry run and then experiment with different routes. Yeah?
Well, and on top of that, it's a game fail state whenever you fail a run, you know? You fail, you go to a loading screen, and then...
oh, no.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Like, I say that, okay.
But that's kind of like the time trials in the old one.
Well, that's true. I think they took a little bit too much of the old one. And I think what would have really benefited them is instead of looking at other platformer games, look at actual racing games. The Forza Horizon games, for instance, have a mechanic where it is constantly recording you. At any point in time, you can hit the rewind button. So you don't have to go to a loading screen if you fuck up a race. You can just rewind, figure out where you went wrong, and kind of move forward. And
that sounds... Wow, okay.
The load's pretty long.
It sounds like a sort of like when people do those perfect runs. Oh, I forget what the term for it is. But where people take save states and they record... You'll see it on, like, I Want to Be the Guy, or some of the ultra-hard Mario levels that people have modded out, where, you know, they got this fraction of a second right, but they had to try that fraction of a second 22 times, and they saved the good one, and then they just stitch all the best ones together. How does Forza handle like that? Or do you have a limited amount of rewinds? How does that work?
No, it's literally just a rewind button. You can use it anytime. It occasionally glitches if you rewind too much, but for the most part, you can just rewind to the begin all the way to the beginning of a race.
you rewound too far, and you backed over your father, and now the picture of you is starting to fade.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, but not quite. Yeah, no, it's like in Forza, literally you're just driving and then, oh shit, I fucking slid and went off the road. So let me rewind, and it kind of takes you back a few seconds at a chunk. Like it seems like it has specific points it picks, but Forza Horizon's an open world game, and all its races take place in that open world. So quite literally, it is always, that rewind function is always there for anywhere you are in that world.
Well, and it's one of the cardinal sins for racing side quests in open worlds is, and especially when you look at, you know, the consoles, the load times on the consoles are not fast. They need to have, you know, when you fail it or whatever, they need to just go, okay, here's what we can do. We can just exit out, and you can just keep running around from wherever you are right now. And if you want to run back to the guy and restart the race, you can. Or you can hit this other button, and we'll teleport you back with a loading screen.
Yeah, no, that's what they do in Mirror's Edge.
Oh, they do? Okay. I thought you had to load it every single time, and it's like, no.
I'm sorry. I described that poorly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, once you fail the race, it gives you that pop-up, and then if you say, no, I'll stay here, like, you know, it's either start the race over or stay where you are. If you start the race over, it loads. But, you know, obviously you chose to do that race because you wanted to beat that race, right?
It's still not perfect, but at least it's better than it sounded.
It's still pretty miserable. And plus, after you play the story missions, like, probably about 75% of the story missions are way better designed than, in my opinion, all the side quest stuff. I just
love the idea. I love the idea of pretty miserable as the subtitle. Mirror's Edge, pretty miserable.
Well, and it's like
pretty miserable catalyst.
Not all the side missions are bad. Like, they have some side missions where you have to go into a server to certain points in it and hack it. And the server's always on the inside of this giant skyscraper, so it's always kind of a puzzle in figuring out how to climb up and get around. And you eventually get a grappling hook that can pull things out, that can, you know, lift you up, or that can let you swing across. And those missions I really like, but they, you know, they have a time. They don't have a timer on them. And then the other missions that I thought were dealable was basically you go find an enemy communication tower. I say communication tower. It's really just a big dish on a roof, right? And there are a bunch of guys around it. You beat them up, you press a button, and then you gotta escape. And those are, I found, fairly harmless. And then they have another side mission where you go on hacked billboards and put up your
You put Dickballbutt up.
your avatar. Well, like
Every billboard is Rick Astley gifs.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That would but no, it's they have a limited. That's actually another fucked up thing about the game is, like, you have all this the avatar that you put up there, and that like shows if you start doing the the social stuff, is an avatar you can only define the images for in the app on your phone, which is free, and it updates immediately, like literally immediately. Like you will unlock something and then you can just it's there on your phone. It's much faster than I expected.
Is it one of those things where you can freehand stuff, or are you just selecting from a preset list of here's your background, here's your icon, here's your colors?
Yeah, pretty much that.
So I was just thinking that, like, if it might be something you wouldn't want to control with a controller, but no, it doesn't sound like that at all.
No, it's all preset stuff, so they literally just took that stuff out of the game so they could have a phone app.
I'm making a face right now.
Yeah. The music's pretty good for the game, but I'm still disappointed they didn't bring back the original song. But my understanding is I can't remember. They have a very particular name for the music, and I meant to write it down and forgot. And it might have been the guy from the original. And he, for the most part, does a good job. It just isn't as high energy as it likes, and plus that original song, I think, just evoked a certain feeling that I think might be missing from the game. But the story overall is fairly forgettable. They have some okay characters in it that I think would have been much better had they kind of tried to push better performances out of everyone. Most people come off pretty dry and pretty reserved.
Are we talking voice acting or mocap?
I imagine they mocapped it because they have some facial animations going on.
I think they mocapped Hearthstone. They mocap everything.
Yeah. But, like, everything is very wooden, and a lot of the voice acting, like, Faith's voice actress, I actually kind of cringe at the way she delivers, like, a few of the lines early on in game. I think it's just the voice actor working with a shitty script is what I think it is.
Well, EA doesn't have the kind of budget where they can go out and hire first-class writers and first-class voice actors, and
Yeah.
I mean, you really got to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're trying to do the best with what they have to work with.
But control-wise, I still think it's great. Half those side quests are good. The grappling hook, even though it can only be used at specific points in the world, I still think is a lot of fun when it happens because you don't always know when you're going to do it. Like you'll be running, you'll be like, I am jumping in this giant chasm. Where is my grappling hook point? And then swing across it.
I think every game should have a grappling hook.
So, evidently, that's...
They should. Name a game a grappling hook would not improve. There isn't one, see? Chess.
I was going to say...
I took your pawn.
I was going to say Catherine, and then my mind went, wait, no, that's...
Nope. Super awesome.
Skip the whole puzzle.
You just hook onto all the panties. Just hook onto them.
Oh, man. Anyway, I like Mirror's Edge, but I also think it's very, I question whether even, all the original fans will like it, but I still think there are elements of that game are good. It's a bummer, because I really doubt that it is going to sell well enough for them to do another sequel, and I think the open world thing is a good idea for it, and it's more like an open jumping pin, because it's not developed like a Bethesda or like a Saints Row or a Rockstar game, It's not like there's people around the world you can go and chat with. But it's a good playpen. Anyway.
Cool. Well, I will never touch it, but I'm glad you finished it. I've been playing, speaking of hooks, I played the Resident Evil 7 demo. And it's, I don't know, get it, play it, it's a thing. It's very, very much PT. They tried to make PT. And you could kind of tell that from the demo they did at the conference. I sort of kind of followed that same path, and I finished the demo probably in about 3 to 4 more minutes than it took them, than the section they showed during the conference. Like, you can go through it like PT and go find all the secret shit, and like there's a couple things I didn't mess with. There's a fuse box that's missing a fuse that I didn't bother to find, and there's a like some lights or something that you can try and light up, but like you have to unlock something. I found a key to get out the back door and said, "Fuck this! I'm getting the hell out of here," which didn't turn out quite as good as I was hoping it would. Not a real happy ending doing that. So I had a couple of thoughts. The first one is, when the game starts, now I played the demo, obviously, on the PS4 with a controller on my TV. And one of the first things it opens up to, like the intro, is first person, the whole thing's first person, and the camera, you don't have control of it. It's moving itself around. And I wonder if they did that in VR, because that would be real disorienting. If you were trying to move your head and then all of a sudden they took control of the camera from you, like, I don't know. I feel like that would be weird. I guess I'd be interested to see how it works. And then the next thing they do is they're like, they do the brightness thing, and they're like, yeah, just slide it up until you barely can't see anything. And I was like, I'm going into this thing and it's going to be super fucking scary. Like, I got about 45 minutes into PT and hopped in the fucking Nope mobile and just drove over to Nopeton. And I got on the Nope train and just went to just Nope. So I was really ready to be scared shitless. And it was not super creepy. But, yeah, they did not get me. I jacked up the fucking brightness.
Like half those horror games, like...
Yeah, they're like,
that's
we're
the
going to scare
Achilles heel of like nearly all of them.
Right. Well, and I played Final Fantasy first so that it would actually be dark by the time I tried Resident Evil. Whatever. It's not... They went for a real Texas Chainsaw thing, which you kind of got a little bit in what they showed at E3, but to me it felt more like sort of a Saw kind of angle on PT when they showed the demo. It's way more Texas Chainsaw, I think. Except there are, I guess, ghosts that show up. I don't know. I didn't see any of them. There's, I guess, people have been finding hidden stuff, and I guess there are ghosts that you can find, and there's like 5 or 6 of them. I don't know where the fuck this... Well, you find footage. Do you remember when they put the tape in the demo, and it showed like 1,000 different videos on the stage? Do you remember that?
Kinda, not really. I'll take your word for it.
Well, they did that so you wouldn't see what was actually in the tape, which I'm going to minorly spoil. It takes place before... Well, obviously it takes place before because it's a VCR tape. It's a VHS tape. And it's these ghost hunters going into this house. So there's ghosts and there's ghost hunters, and all that's kind of bringing me around to my sort of final takeaway, which is I don't think this is going to be anything like what the end game ends up being. It felt like a VR demo that they went, well, we've already put controller support in this. Let's just make the right stick make the head move and run with that. So I don't think... I mean, if the whole thing can be played in VR like they were saying, it would have to be all playable in first person. Well, I guess not, because... God, what's that game that just came out recently? Oculus, it was Edge of Nowhere, I think it's called. I played that, and that was third person, and you just tilted your head to control the camera, so I don't know. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to all be first person, but no. I don't think that's the game we're going to get. I think it's going to be different.
You think it's going to be like Resident Evil 6 and 5 and all that?
I don't know. I don't know. What I'm feeling is I don't know that they're going to go back to what they were doing, but the takeaway I am getting is that this is not indicative. It just feels nothing like any Resident Evils. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, I will probably pick it up. That may be... I may Redbox that one. When it comes out. I don't know that that's a $60 purchase for me. I haven't bought a fully priced Resident Evil game in years. But Yeah, I guess we'll see. I will probably still play it.
I don't know. My wife and I really enjoyed playing co-op through Resident Evil 5.
I liked 5. People give it a lot of shit. I thought 4 and 5 were both very fun.
Yeah, a lot of people like 4. I never really played 4, but like for a while there, Susie and I would just buy anything that had co-op in it practically, just because there was co-op on the same screen, you know, and that was one of the few, and it did not have a good split screen in that.
Susie doesn't play PC games, does she?
She has started to a little bit, because she started doing like these horror game like react video things.
Okay. Because Borderlands pre-sequel, I think I didn't mention it because I'm not going to be picking it up, but it was a pretty good price on the Steam sale. It's like $12-13 maybe. I don't know if that's your thing. I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, I don't think she likes Borderlands, honestly. I've got her to play it with me a few times. She is more, I don't know. She likes, I don't know how to describe her taste in games. Like, she likes some games, but she really hates inventory management. Like, that is one of the #1 ways to get her disinterested in a game. So, like, Borderlands and Diablo and Torchlight and all those, like, I say that. I did get her to play Diablo 3 with me for a bit, but I don't know. We haven't played that in a long time. What were we talking about?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I missed the first half of whatever's going on here.
Yeah, my wife is home.
Okay.
Oh, that's an armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just looked up
that I'm on a podcast.
I looked up and I was like, "Oh shit, the thing is really happening! Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
man. Okay. Well then, let's wrap up. You can rate and review us on iTunes because we would like you to. You can send us some emails for us to read on the podcast live at carouselpodcast@gmail.com. Visit our Twitter at Carousel Podcast.
Not even drinking tonight.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It's the hiccups.
Let's see. What are we doing? Website. Visit the website at thecarouselpodcast.com. Buy my music at MusiM.bandcamp.com. I released an album not too long ago.
Album.
Jake, where can we find you?
TheOtherJZee on Twitter. That's OtherJ, letter J, Z-E-E. That's pretty much everything for now. If there's anything worth going to else that I've done, you can probably find a way to get to it from there.
Randy, where can we find you?
I'm OSU Cobra on Twitter, and gifts have been on PS4.
Cool. Well, then with that, this is Carousel out.
Bye guys.